Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA. Online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Thursday, August 13th, 2020, and it's 6:38 p.m. when I'm recording this episode. Let me take a sip of my second beer of the day. This is a Pacifico. They were out of Tecates, and I figured I'd splurge on a 12-pack of Pacifico, which cost me $20. Second one of the day, always the best. That's what they say. Well, tonight I have a somewhat of a longer show, almost like a normal length show, maybe a little bit shorter. But tomorrow I'm heading up to the mountains on a Friday. I got to work today. Actually, I tossed and turned all last night because I was worried about this job that I'm doing, and got up in the middle of the night. It's just been me and Brian in the house and one dog, me, Brian, and Cassie. And I sleep downstairs with Cassie. And I've been falling asleep pretty early. And I woke up around midnight. I just tossing and turning, thinking about this job. I don't know why, but sometimes I'm on these jobs and they get in my head and I can't sleep. And I'm thinking about what I'm going to do the next day. And the woman hadn't chosen paint colors. And I got up in the middle of the night and checked my email. And she said, I put up samples for the woman, color samples. I know this is boring talk, but that's the way it is, friends. I put up color samples for the customer, and these colors were horrible. I mean, they were horrible, and they were just putrid, stench-filled colors. And I'm thinking, oh, this lady has the worst taste in colors. And I get up and I'm just obsessing on this job. And I wake up in the middle of the night and she says, I hate the colors. I got to start all over thinking about these colors. So I'm thinking to myself, well, all right, well, I'll go there. I still have a little bit more prep to do. And I get there and I keep checking my email because I'm thinking that she's going to decide on some colors before I get to the job. But I get to the job, there's no email from her, and she comes down and meets me and says, I don't know what I'm going to do about the colors. And I said, well, why don't we do this? Because I had a plan in my head when I'm telling her this. The plan was, let's get the hell out of San Francisco and go up to the mountains for 4 days or 3 days. I said, why don't you go drive around, look at some houses, go to the paint store. They'll give you free samples. They'll just tell them I'm doing the painting for you. They'll make samples for you for free because they like me there. I'm a good customer. And talk to the guy there, and he'll give you some advice on color suggestions. And I gave her some colors, some ideas. And why don't you sit on those for the weekend? I won't come here Friday. You bring your friends over, whatever, look at them and just obsess on them over the weekend and give me a decision before Tuesday morning. I'll be back on Tuesday to start work again. She said, that sounds like a great idea. So I came off sounding like a genius, and I get to spend a long weekend in the mountains, and I'm loving it. I cannot wait to get the hell out of San Francisco. So I'm getting up at 3 in the morning, me and Cassie. He's going to be so happy to see the girls. He's going to be so thrilled. So I'm getting up at 3 in the morning, going to leave the house by 5 or by 4 at the latest. I think I'm going to leave the house by 4:30 at the latest. I've got to make coffee and pack up the stuff and bring the RODECASTER just in case a show, if I decide to do a show when I'm up there. So I'm going to be up there tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm going to leave Monday morning and head back. So I got little more than 3 days up there. Hopefully my truck will make it okay. And it's going to be 105 degrees, but I don't care. It's 59 degrees here or something like that. I don't care. I'm just looking forward to getting the hell out of San Francisco. So that's my life, friends. And tonight I'm going to do I have several track by tracks I wanted to do, but tonight I figured I'm going to do a track by track of the new Deep Purple album called Whoosh. Whoosh. It's called Whoosh. So that's the plan tonight. I have also a couple of audio comments I'm going to do probably before the track by track. And I'm also going to thank some donors. Why don't we listen to one or two audio comments, and then we will do a track by track of the new Deep Purple album, which just came out August 7th. It was supposed to come out June 12th, but the bullshit that's happening postponed it. So now it's out, even though the bullshit's still happening. All right, let's listen to a couple audio comments.
Hey, Michael. It's Tim, the rock and roll runner.
Oh, speaking of Tim, the rock and roll runner, he's part of the Dog Days of Podcasting. This is day 11 of the Dog Days of Podcasting. I'm trying to do a show. I'm parched now. I need a sip of Pacifico. Trying to do a show a day for the entire month of August. This is show 11, I believe. Got to go back and check, but I think it's number 11. And Tim Smith is doing a Dog Days doing Dog Days episodes too. He's doing it on viruses and pandemics throughout history, which is quite interesting, Tim Smith. All right, back to you, Tim.
Hey, Michael. It's Tim, the rock and roll runner.
Hey, Tim.
How's it going, man?
Super great. Couldn't be better.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
I am in between Cincinnati, Ohio, and Dayton, Ohio, on a bike path.
Oh, you ride your bike.
Been riding for about 2 hours. Been riding my bike. Been more the rock and roll cyclist this summer, more than the rock and roll runner. But
you don't sound like you're wearing a mask. I see people riding bikes by themselves out here with a mask on. Come on. Who are you going to infect with a mask on by riding your bike by yourself in the middle of nowhere?
taking a little
So I'm assuming you don't have a mask on, Tim.
break. About to turn around and head back. Just had myself a lovely Walmart brand granola bar.
Huh, okay.
I see some lovely ladies in front of me.
Ooh.
Cycling on the path.
Tim Smith, well-known ladies man, if you heard that audio comment from the past.
Been going by a lot of people cycling and running. I just saw a few deer, it looked like kind of a mommy deer and maybe with a couple of teenager deer. Just bouncing to the woods. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I see a plane in the sky. Just enjoying the sunshine.
In nature.
Not super hot for once. Just
Good.
kind of nice. Warm but lovely. Anyway, I just coincidentally, about 5 minutes ago, finished listening to your 1000th episode. So I thought I would say happy 1001st episode.
Thank you, friend. Even though
because that signifies
this is probably 1010 or something like that now.
that the Rock and Roll Geek Show is still going, and that's
Yes.
what we want.
That's right.
I know you're actually a little beyond that now, but anyway, this is a happy 1001st
Thank you, friend.
episode. I think I must have started listening. I'm trying to remember, but I don't exactly know. Maybe you were in the 300s when I started listening, and I'm sure I was first listening to Radio Lab and This American Life and all that stuff, and I don't know how I came across yours, no idea. But I think, didn't you?
A lot of times people would just go into iTunes or whatever they listen to their podcast and type in rock and roll. And because I have rock and roll, this is a little tip for the podcasters, because I have rock and roll in the podcast name, it comes up as one of the first ones.
I have also a sister show called the Indie Cast.
I had the Rock and Roll Geek Indie Cast where I played nothing but unknown bands or indie music. That's when I worked at Pod Show. They were on this Pod Safe kick. So I said, I'll do a Pod Safe show. I'll do the Rock and Roll Geek Indie Cast. So I played a lot of music from the Pod Safe Music Network. And then I just said, fuck it.
Something like that. And one of my very first memories is I'm listening and not recognizing all the bands, but enjoying them. But then you played Alice Cooper, Alice Cooper is how I got turned on to rock and roll, really. I have an older brother, and he's 8 years older. And he's about 7 years older. And when he left the home, he left all of his albums, or a bunch of albums. So then I discovered, I'm 11 or something, and I discover all these Alice Cooper albums, and I played them. I wore those mother effers out. I can still to this.
Those Bob Ezrin produced Alice Cooper out. Well, he's still producing their stuff, but the first Bob Ezrin, the first four. Let's see, Love It to Death, Killer, School's Out and $1 Billion Babies. Yeah, those first four Bob Ezrin produced albums. I don't need to tell you that it's four of the greatest albums ever created.
Okay. Pretty much sing almost every word to anything on $1 Billion Babies or Love It to Death or any of those classic 4 or 5 Alice albums. But anyway, you played one of his songs. It might have been Under My Wheels, something like that you played. And I thought, man, this is awesome. I just love this stuff. So that's it. I was hooked. I've been listening to, I don't think I've missed a single episode since whenever that was, maybe the 300s. I do remember you hitting 500, and I had been listening for quite a while. So anyway, certainly easily the show I've been listening to the most consistently, the longest. And I'm a huge podcast listener. I listen to way too many shows. But nothing like the Rock and Roll Geek Show. It's about the only place I donate money to.
Thank you, friend.
Every now and then to another show, but pretty much only the Rock and Roll Geek Show. And yes, as you often say, you are the one who got me into podcasting.
The one who continues to listen after, because a lot of times these guys who listen to the show get into podcasting, they turn on me. I become the competition. But Tim Smith,
your show and realizing you don't need to have a multi-million-dollar production like, This American Life or something. I thought, well, maybe I can give it a shot. So I did start mine about 4 years ago. Nobody needs to listen. It has nothing to do with rock and roll. And so far, after 4 years, I'm still waiting for my very first donation. So as you can tell, I make a shit ton of money on it. But anyway, it's fun. I do enjoy doing it. Mine is more of an audio diary. It's really not very interesting.
That's what mine started off as.
Anyway, that's all I had. Happy 1,000.
I listen to Tim Smith when he's doing the dog days. I listen to almost every. I'm loving the pandemic history.
And first episode. Let's see. Let me go over here to my bike. I've been wandering away from my bike. And on my bike, I have, of course, a bottle that has some Gatorade in it. So that's all I can do. I didn't put any vodka in the Gatorade, but I'm going to have a sip of this fine Gatorade.
All right, I'll take a sip of this Pacifico.
And to all the other rock and roll listeners, you are all part of my family now. I love going on the Facebook.
That's right.
Seeing what you guys talk about. So I feel like this is one big family.
That's what it is.
To Micah Butler.
It's a nice community.
And all the rock and roll listeners. A sip of this fine
The friends of the Rock and Roll
Gatorade.
Geek Show. I'm going to take a sip of this fine Pacifico to you and all the friends of the show.
All right, hopping on my bike, heading back south. Stay frosty.
Stay frosty. Thank you, Tim Smith. I really appreciate it, friend. I got another audio comment, but before I do that, it's been a while since I've thanked people who listen to the Rock and Roll Geek Show, or thank the people who, well, thank you for listening as well, but it's been a while since I've thanked the people who donate to the Rock and Roll Geek Show.
Hey, Mike Butler. How you doing, AJ? Rock and Roll Jew.
Oh, wait, hold on. Stop that. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, I still haven't gotten the new producer yet. Let me find the donors. I thought my computer crashed and I closed everything out. So I got to find the donors back. Okay, here they are. All right. So what am I going to play in some background music? Yesterday, I did Listening with Butler with Tennessee Champagne versus the Room Sounds, and I was in contact with Tennessee Champagne, and they sent me the entire album. So let's listen to that while we thank people who donated to the show. Let's see. Let's start from the end. Can't Get Over You. Let's see how that works out. All right. There are several ways you can donate to the Rock and Roll Geek Show, friends. This show is a value for value. I have not listened to this yet, but I'm liking this so far. If you get any value out of the Rock and Roll Geek Show, I ask you to please put a number on that value, and whatever you can, send it to me, friends. Helps keep the lights on. And as you know, without your donations, gone. No more show, friends. A horrible, putrid, stench-filled death.
After all that we've been through.
So one of the ways you can donate to the Rock and Roll Geek Show is you go to patreon.com/RNRGeek.
This is what you do.
Like the following people did.
I swear I've always
Tim Schall.
been true.
Every episode. Not every Dog Days episode, just the ones that I decide to put on the Patreon.
I gave all I had.
I'm not going to put more than one a week on the Patreon because I don't want to rape my friends of the show.
Can't get over you again.
I like this. I like these guys, Tennessee Champagne. They seem like good boys. Big boys, too. I'm a big boy. I kick my ass. Tim Schall donates $15 every episode. Kirk Crawford, friend of the show, who also sent me, just came in the mail today, for the book, For the Sake of Heaviness, The History of Metal Blade Records by Brian Slagle. Looks like a quick read, so I'm going to bring this with me up to the Mountain House. Thank you, Kirk Crawford. I really appreciate it. He also donates $12.77 to every episode on Patreon. Thank you to Joseph Coyne for $10 every episode. Dan Gerawan, $10. Thank you. New donor, new patron, Cole Thornton, $6.67. One higher than Joe Pawlak, my bodyguard, who donates $6.66.
All of this pain.
Thank you to Dave Slusher, my podcast mentor and co-host of the Mad at Dad program. $5.55.
Is this song I sing?
Justin Lefkowitz, $5 every episode. New patron, Mark Mazzei. I know I'm mispronouncing that. Mazzei, M-A-Z-Z-E-I. $5 every episode. Thank you, Mark. Erik Klein, $5. I think he's a new patron as well. Two new patrons, Fred and Ginny Fred and Ginny Bunke. I think that's how you pronounce it. Bunke, B-U-N-K-E. $5 every episode. Let's hear the solo. These guys live in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, up in the Appalachian Mountains. This is what I'm going to do when I retire. Go up in the mountains and play mountain music.
I can't get over you getting over me. With all these tears of pride, I made it easy to see.
I like that. Let's go to another song. Corn from a Jar. Thank you to Steve Scouller, $5. I think Steve Scouller might be a new patron as well. Thank you, all the new patrons who came on. I really appreciate it, friends. Rodney Cross, $5. Thank you, Rodney Cross. Grant Farquhar, $5 every episode. Marshall York, $5 every episode. Listen to a little more of this.
Cold Creek flows down the hill, comes right through my moonshine still.
Rocky Top is my home, sweet home. But the corn grows fine in spite of the song.
That's total Skinner there. Let's see how Mountains in My Bones. Where am I here? Grant Farquhar, $5. Rodney Cross, $5. Thank you to Jamie Jefford, $5. Thank you to Marsha York, $5. Brad Shick, $5. This is Allman Brothers here. Thank you to Brad Shick, $5. One of my oldest friends, Mike Brown, $5. Thank you to Bette Wood, $5. Thank you to Michael Street, friend of the show and friend of mine, for the $5 every episode. And he also sent me the two great books, Ian Hunter book and the John Entwistle, both biographies. Bringing those to the mountains with me too. Thank Thank you to Brian Springer, $5. Thank you to my good friend Chiaki Hinohara, who I miss dearly, for the $5 every episode. Host of the Japanese Metalhead Show and Metal Moment podcast. I like that too. How about selfish ways? Let's keep it on this while we thank the donors. Thank you to, where am I here? Robert Harvey, $5 every episode. Thank you to Ken Kennedy. May your dad rest in peace, Ken Kennedy. $5 every episode. Thank you to Derek Coward, host of the Comic Book Noise podcast. $5. Actually, excuse me. Derek Coward, $3. Chad Burns, $2.50. Paul Rube, $2.25. Paul Smith, $2. Adrian Boschon, Bosch Rock on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page, which I do not create, but I do approve, people. You just got to answer 2 questions so that I know you're not someone trying to denigrate the good name of Kamala Harris. Thank you to John Boveri, $2. Thank you to Patrick Shanahan, $2. Thank you to Metal Dan, $2. Thank you to Bruce McMillan, $2. Thank you to Eric Stowell, $2. Thank you to Mike Dixon, $2. Matthew Hunt, $2. Paul Underwood, maker of Underwood Fine Barbecue Sauce, $2. Thank you to Rock and Roll Plebe, new patron, Eric the Rock and Roll Plebe, $1.42. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it, friend. Thank you to Amy Bowen, $1, who's also in the dog days of podcasting. Arnie Stash, 3 Legs, 4 Wheels, Bondstone, John Richardson, and Corey Kohler, all $1 on Patreon. Thank you, friends. All right, how about Singing to My Broken Heart? That sounds like a big ballad. Mama, take this badge off of me. You can also go to PayPal. All these links are at rockandrollgeek.com. Just click the donate button, the donate link. Joe Pawlak, $200 1,000th episode donation. Thank you, Joe Pawlak, my bodyguard. I'll take a sip of this fine Tecate or fine Pacifico to you, friend. I never noticed the can of Pacifico. It's boat themed. It's got a life preserver with an anchor in the ocean. Why did I say that? I don't know. I'm just looking at the can. Thank you to John Morgan, $100. Thank you to Douglas Free, $100. These $100 donations are saving my ass, friends. My ass. Thank you to Richard Fusey, $100. Thank you, Richard Fusey. I really appreciate it, friend. And take a sip of this fine Pacifico to you. Kirk Crawford came in with another donation, $50, in addition to the $12.77 and the Metal Blade Records book. Michael Street came in with another $50, along with the 2 books.
I grab my pad and pen.
Kirk Crawford again with another $50 donation. So far that's $112.77 plus a book. Kirk Crawford with another $50 donation. That's $150 plus 12, $162.77. Is that right? Math ain't me forte, friends. Thank you to Richard. Thank you so much, Kirk Crawford. You are a super donor, friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Richard Strom, $20. Thank you to Richard Fusey, another $20. Thanks to Greg Brofer, which I got his name spelled wrong here. I better correct that now. Greg Brofer, $10. Thank you to Dave. Thank you, Greg Brofer. I really appreciate it, friend. New donor. Thank you to Dave Franco, $10. Hear the solo. Thank you to Jason Shepard, $10. Thank you to Ralph Miller, friend of mine and friend of the show, $10. Thanks to James Venners, $10. Thanks to Todd Cunningham, $10. Thanks to Dave Jackson and the School of Podcasting for the $10. Thank you to Daniel Segan for the $10. Thanks to Jeff and Sherry Thielke for the $10. Thank you to Dick
Schuit.
for the $10. What's his name? Dick?
Schuit.
Thank you, Dick. I really appreciate it. Thank you to BJ Lisco for the $10. Thanks to Robert Giglio, $5. Thanks to Andrew Howe, $5. Thanks to Dale Roller, $5. Thank you to Jero Carroll, $5. Thanks to Christopher Del Grande, $5. Thanks to Robert Scott, $5. Thanks to Blake Johnson, $5. Thanks to John Offenlock, $5. Thanks to Brett Garsky, $5. Thanks to Richard Fusey, $5. Thanks to Benjamin Muller, $5. Thanks to John Tennis, $5. Greg Long, $5. Thanks to Eric Lentz, $5. Michael Williams, $5. Thanks to Stephen Bailey, $3.33. Thanks to Jason Wendleton, $2. William Moffat, $2. Lassie Satfed Hagen, $2. Thanks to Bradford Page, $2. And Robert Giglio, $2. Thanks to everybody who donated to the Rock and Roll Geek Show this month, friends. I really appreciate it. Without your donations, this show would die horrible, putrid, stench-filled death. I take a sip of this fine Pacifico to everyone. All right, there's Tennessee Champagne. I like that. I'm going to have to give that a good listen on the way up to the mountains tomorrow morning. You can also click the donate button at rockandrollgeek.com, and there's an Amazon link. So anything you buy on Amazon, I'll get a little kickback there as well. And you can also call in other shows with somehow get either catchphrases from this show on the air, or mention my name on the air, or the Rock and Roll Geek Show on the air, something like that. That helps as well. And you can also send me audio comments, friends. rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. All right, another audio comment. Speaking of audio comments, I'm about to burp up this fine Pacifico, so take it away.
Hey, Michael Butler. How you doing, Dave Jacobs?
Hey,
Rock
Jake.
and Roll Jew.
Hey, Dave Jacobs.
Belated. Happy 1,000th episode.
Thank you, friend.
Can't believe it, man.
Yeah.
1,000. It seems like it's been 1,000,000 years since we started.
It's been actually, what is it? It's 2004. It's been 16 years.
1,000,000 years since we started so long ago. You were talking about people who were influenced by you and even named their show after
Yeah,
you.
he did the Rock and Roll Juice Show.
Well, I'm going to lay claim right here to being the very first one that ever did that. Because I was very, very early on this, and I'm pretty sure I'm the first one to name my show
Yeah.
The Rock and Roll Jew Show,
Yes.
right? And it was just an influence, Obviously, you were, one of the major influences on everyone. You had the Rock and Roll podcast. So I listened to that a lot, and it was running around, in my subconscious when I was trying to think of the name for my show. And so it popped in my head, Rock and Roll Jew Show.
I like it.
And I instantly thought, damn, I can't do that. It's just like Rock and Roll Geek Show. Damn it, I like this name. It's really cool, but, I don't think I can do it. And then
Did it anyway.
I thought, screw it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. And if Michael emails me and he's pissed off, no problem.
Did I? I don't think I
I'll ditch
did.
it immediately. So, that's all it took. You could have changed my history with just one little email saying, hey, what the hell? And I would have dropped it immediately. But I never heard from you. Nothing happened. So I just went along my merry way. And then came that first podcast expo in Ontario. Super exciting, man.
Oh, I probably called him out in person. Did I start a fight with you, Dave?
That weekend was amazing. A real community was starting to form. A lot of us hadn't met each other because we were flung all over the country. That was...
The first podcast expo was great. That's where I met Joe Klein, who I still need to call. I'm kind of afraid to call Joe Klein for some reason. I don't know why, because it's going to be an awkward conversation, but I really do want to talk to the guy. I love him.
A hell of a weekend. So I was very excited to meet all these folks and meet Michael Butler, someone who had had a big influence on how I do things and just, doing a rock podcast. And I wanted to talk to you about this name thing, too, because I didn't really know. Maybe you're still pissed off but really seething. Maybe you want to beat the crap out of me when you see me. I wasn't 100% sure, and I was a little nervous, but I wanted to be cool with you and make sure it was all right. And just to let you know, I'm not trying to steal from you or copy you or do anything. So, of course, I find you at a music panel, and we're in the hall walking out from that, and I'm trying to explain to you, hey, I'm not trying to do anything. This is just really kind of an influence and, whatever. And in typical Michael Butler fashion, you just shrug and go, yeah, whatever, man. You want to get a beer? So we went and got a beer.
There you go. Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
We were good from then on.
That's right.
Absolutely amazing. So that's the story of how I named my podcast, heavily influenced by you, of course. But the only thing I ever stole from you, and not even stole, the only thing that I take from you and use for myself is what you call the train wreck, but I kind of call the punk rock ethos of doing a show. Devil may care, I'm doing my thing, take it or don't take it, but what's most important is that it's real and it's true and authentic and raw. And that's one of the reasons why your podcast is so good, and I took that to heart, and that's the way I do my show as well, or I try to, and that's what I like in my podcasts, stuff that's really real and true and not polished at all. So thank you for that. That was a great lesson, I think, for everybody. So thanks for 1,000 episodes. Again, great entertainment. You've given us so much laughs and fun. You didn't mention it, but I'll tell you the highlight for me, the highlight of the show. I have never, ever laughed and been so delightfully shocked in my life as the insane coverage of the Masturbate-a-thon.
Oh, yeah. For people who don't know, they used to have these events in San Francisco called the Masturbate-a-thon, where you would get people to, it would be like a dance-a-thon. People would but in the dance-a-thon, people would pledge like $1 for every hour you danced or whatever. It was a Masturbate-a-thon. So for how long everybody would masturbate, they would get donations, and people would just sit around and masturbate, men and women. And I got press access to this thing. I did not participate. I would walk around with a microphone and narrate shit that was going on. It was pretty disturbing. They stopped doing that.
And been so delightfully shocked in my life.
Let me back it up here.
So thank you for that. That was a great lesson, I think, for everybody. So thanks for 1,000 episodes. Again, great entertainment. You've given us so much laughs and fun. You didn't mention it, but I'll tell you the highlight for me, the highlight of the show. I have never, ever laughed and been so delighted.
I don't think you can still hear these episodes because they were on the Pod Show servers, but I would just like be whispering into this microphone. I'd have like a microphone, like whispering, like, because everybody's like sitting around, girls fingering themselves and dudes jerking off, and I'm going, all right, this dude here, look at this guy. Oh man, this stinks so bad in here. Oh, look at this dude. Me talking under my breath, and I'm just like disturbed looking at this shit.
Fully shocked in my life as the insane coverage of the Masturbate-a-thons. Those shows were nuts in the best possible way. That's the highlight for me. Those shows just were insanely awesome. So thanks for that and all the rest of it. Keep it up. You're as good today as you've ever been. So keep the train wreck rolling.
Not better, just as good.
And hey, here's to another 1,000.
This is not worse.
Right? See ya.
All right. Thank you, Dave Jacobs. I really appreciate it. Friend of the Rock and Roll Jew Show. All right. You too can leave me an audio comment. Just record it on your phone or on your computer or whatever and email it to me, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. You could call area code 706-621-ROCK, but I never open my Skype anymore, and Skype sucks anyway, so I'd rather you just email it. Just record it on your phone and hit the share and then email it to rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. Pardon me, I got to burp up another Pacifico while I open up another one. Let's do the track by track of the Deep Purple album, Whoosh. Let me find the Let me find the album here. Deep, D-E-E-P. All right, all I got is You. I got Burn. I got Infinite. I got Machine Head. I got Perfect Strangers. I got Whoosh right here. Okay. There are 13 songs on the album, and as you know, the Rock and Roll Geek scoring system. If I like the song, I give it a +1. If it's okay, I'll give it a half. And if I don't like it, I give it a 0. Here is what Ian Gillan has to say about Whoosh.
Whoosh is an onomatopoeic word that, in my mind, represents the transient nature of humanity on Earth. And with tongue-in-cheek, more likely, Deep Purple's career, which seems to have started only yesterday. And whoosh, here we are today.
All right, there you go. That's Ian Gillan's take on Whoosh. All right, let's pull up the Wikipedia. All right, this is they collaborated with Bob Ezrin again, who did their last 2 albums. They enjoyed the recording and production. Its release was promoted by a series of press statements from Ian Gillan, such as another album, Whoosh, Gordon Bennett. I don't know what he means. He explained the album title, which I just said. Okay. However, he also said fans should simply listen to the album as an enjoyable experience. It was originally set to be released on June 12th, but it was postponed due to this to the Corona. He said this was because distribution lines for physical media should wait until lockdowns ease and restrictions lifted. Well, here we are, still under lockdown, several months later, but they put it out anyway. They probably got tired of waiting, and they're probably writing another one now. 3 songs were released as digital singles, beginning with Throw My Bones. All right, and blah, blah, blah. Produced by Bob Ezrin, released on August 7th, 2020, recorded in Nashville, I think. All right, first song, Throw My Bones. By the way, I have not heard these songs at all. I've not listened to any of it, so we're going to listen to it cold.
I don't know what lies ahead.
I love Ian Gillan's voice.
It's all a mystery, man. I heard it said, you do your thing, do your best. I take a guess what happened next. All I got is what I need, and that's enough as far as I can see. Why should I walk into the great unknown? I can sit here and throw my bones. I hear the future.
All right, I like this. It's classic Deep Purple. Not taking itself too seriously. His voice sounds great. It's catchy enough.
'Cause what I got here
I think Roger Glover is an underrated bass player, by the way,
is better for me than some.
who also produced several Nazareth records.
It's what I need. That's enough as far as I can see. Why should I walk into the great unknown when I can sit here and throw my bones?
All right, Steve Morse from the Dixie Dregs sounds great. Oh, on the album, the musicians on the album are Ian Gillan on vocals, of course, Steve Morse on guitars, Roger Glover on bass, Ian Pace on drums, and Don Airey on keyboards.
What's the rush?
All right, I'm going to give that one a +1. It's not, it's nothing fancy, but it's Deep Purple and it's catchy enough. I like it. It's pleasant. Next song, Drop the Weapon. Oh, by the way, all songs written by, according to the Wikipedia, because I don't have the liner notes here with me. All songs are composed by Deep Purple and Bob Ezrin, except track 12 by Ritchie Blackmore and John Lord. In the Address is an instrumental, and it's from their first album, which I'll talk about when we get to it. All right, next song, Drop the Weapon.
Shouting, working up a sweat, stepping over lines, you know what happened next. More trouble than anyone can use. It's a predetermined thing, you lose your right to choose. No way to turn it around, you got no more time.
My old band, American Heartbreak, opened for Deep Purple and Scorpions. It was Scorpions, Deep Purple, and Dio. We played, this was at the, down in the L.A. area, or San Bernardino, at a amphitheater, and somehow we got booked to play a side stage. There was only one side stage in this whole event. Between all the bands, so first came on was Dio, then we would play, then Deep Purple, then we played again, then Scorpions played. It was great, man. We played this side stage, and everybody would come out to get beers, and they'd come watch us. So we were playing in front of in front of 5,000-10,000 people. It was fantastic.
They'll be washed away by tomorrow's rain. Little brother, I'm telling you now, your pride can take a hit. Little brother, take a deep breath, cool off, man. Forget about it. Drop the weapon, kick it away. Drop your gun, look the other way. Drop your weapon, live another day. Drop your blade, listen while I say. No sound of silence.
This song's alright, it's not great.
Violence, we're in overload.
But Ian Gillan's voice sounds fucking great, man.
Francisco, where the hell did you?
I think he sounds like he's doubling it, but it sounds good.
Enough of that peace and
The cover of the album is a guy walking, looks like he's walking in the snowy, on a snowy planet, an astronaut on a snowy planet. A little jammy, which I know that I heard Bob Ezrin say that they asked him to produce their record, and he said he didn't want to hear songs. He'd like to hear them jamming. The reason he came to he wanted to watch them play, not really expecting to want to produce them, but then they did these long jam sessions, and he said, I want you to do that kind of stuff. I want you to just jam. But I'm not a big... jams are all right. I'm giving this one a half.
drop the weapon, kick it.
Next song, We're All the Same in the Dark. If that was the chorus, not much of a chorus.
Till the end. I guess we'll
right, I'll give it a half. I'll give it a soft half. I mean, the guys are great musicians. Ian Hunter, great singer, great lyricist. Put it this way, it's no the bitch was trashed. It's a little jazzy. I'll give it a half. It's decent enough. It'll probably grow on me as I'm listening to it more. Next song, Nothing at All, which I think was a single. Dixie drag sound.
I'm talking to myself again. I'm waving to a passing friend. I've known her since I don't know when. It's nothing at all. Just a few of us walk arm in arm.
Exodus recorded the Force of Habit album with Chris Tangarides, who did Ian Hunter's solo album called Toolbox. And he told us stories. He said that Ian Gillan said when he did his vocals, he was laying on his back and a girl was blowing him while he was doing his vocals. That can't be true.
Then she blew all the leaves off my tree.
Did you just say she blew something? What a coincidence, man. I like this. This song's nice and pleasant. I like that.
And the junk that sails our seven seas is very
Seven Seas.
to my knees, but the platitudes and pleasantries
Maybe this is about him getting blown.
keep saying it's nothing at all. I'll deal with it on another day. If I close my eyes, it'll go away. So bottoms up, boys, and what do you say? Really, it's nothing at all. It's nothing at all. Nothing at all.
I like this one. This is pleasant.
Baby, smile. It's nothing at all. And the summer passed away.
When American Heartbreak played this show, Ian Gillan came out with what looked like white pajamas and barefoot. He was wearing a white loose top, what looked like drawstring karate pants. It's a little cheesy sounding, but I like it. At least this album doesn't sound like they really care. They're just having fun, just making music, which is to be admired. Ian Pace, ripping keyboard player. Or Ian Pace? No. Don Airey, ripping keyboard player. Pardon me. So Blabbermouth gave this a 9 out of 10. Classic Rock Magazine gave it a 4.5 out of 5. All Music gives it a 4 out of 5. New Music Express gave it 3 out of 5. The Times a 2 out of 5. Riff Magazine 8 out of 10. and Brave Words a 9 out of 10. And as we all know, the Rock and Roll Geek scoring system way more scientific, so we'll see what we come up with. I'll give that one a +1. Next song, No Need to Shout. My classic Deep Purple organ.
You stand there on your soapbox without fear, like a chanting, wild, demented auctioneer. It's just a bunch of crap. You're talking out your hat, and I don't want you chewing off my ear. No need to shout. I'm hearing what you say. No need to shout.
No need to shout, I'm hearing what you say.
Shut your mouth and go away. You preach to the converted, it's insane. We're here already swinging like a train. I can only hope that you won't ram it down my throat. Don't make me swallow it again.
So far, it's a soft half.
Alright, I'm hearing what you say. No need to shout. No, just shut your mouth and go away. Your manifesto stuffed inside your suitcase. Blah, 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 you're never wrong. And even when you're stooping, tying up your shoelace, you keep droning on and on and on.
All right, lyrics are pretty good. Solo great. Good riffs, but I'll give it a half. Steve Morse, a shredder. Next song, Step by Step. Mr. Crowley. Welcome to the House of Horrors.
Rattle through the night. Don't look.
Yeah, this sounds like a snoozer.
There's no end in sight. Step by
Uh-oh. We might have the first 0.
through the graveyard shift. No way out. That's the truth about the silent.
You got to at least hand it to these guys. They're still putting out music.
Inch by inch.
This song's not going anywhere. It's not doing it for me. Fast forward.
Holding on. Little by little we get
Oh, okay, maybe changes here.
into my life. Little by little we getting too tight. Taking me over and still.
All right, nah, 0. That song blows. All right, next song, What the What? Highway Star.
We're going out tomorrow, gonna do it right. To celebrate the fact that we're still alive. In that case, we better make it tonight. I drink for us all, and you can drive.
All right, Deep Purple doing Boogie Woogie.
I paid my dues. I'm gonna break out my dancing shoes. I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm gonna spend my money till there's nothing left. So bad. I've been so bad. I've been so bad. What happened to you last night? Every bar in London had an old Joanna, and cats who could play.
Not loving this one either.
No one cared, a few teeth got missing. Everybody got up to sing 5-string guitars on old scheme drums. I
Started off as a half. I might take away the half.
We were so bad. We've been so bad. What happened to you last night?
All right, I'll be generous. I'll give it a half. It's not a great tune. Again, kudos to Deep Purple for continuing to put out music, but that song's not great either. Next song, The Long Way Round.
You can't get me down, I got the things are looking up blues. I know it happens, but it never sticks to my shoes. It's been a long time coming, I never thought it would last. I think about the future, who knows what might have happened in the past. And nothing is real, but it feels pretty good all the same. I know you from somewhere, but I can't remember your name. I don't need much space, but you don't have to step on my toes. I was looking over there, and all the time it was under my nose. I should have known which way the wind was blowing.
All right, this is catchy enough, I guess. Not great.
I was facing the wrong way. I was taking the long way around.
I mean, I'm sure hardcore Deep Purple fans appreciate them putting out an album and probably think this album's great.
Never looking the right way.
And Ian Hill. What did I say? I've already said Ian Pace, Ian Hunter, Ian Hill, Ian Gillan. Sounds great. The songs just aren't great.
I was taking the long way around.
All right, enough of the jamming. We don't need a whole album of fucking jamming, do we? The Long Way Around, I give it a half. Next song, number 9, The Power of the Moon. Welcome to space, the final frontier. The Starship Enterprise.
Who am I to say things may not all be what they seem? And how can I disturb the facts of life? And who am I to speak about the fabric of a dream? And who's to say the dreams cannot be right? It's the power of the moon. The power. Who am I?
Huh. The chorus is, it's the power of the moon. All right.
Vanishing the madness in my head.
I like the
And who am I to mention that before it all began, everything.
I'm sure they had a good time recording this album. You know, they got to all be together and have Bob Ezrin in the room and shoot the shit and go out and have some nice meals and make some music. Again, songs just aren't great. None of these songs are going to go over live. Guarantee you none of them. Maybe Throw My Bones so far.
It's a green
Maybe nothing at all.
so
I don't think they'll play more than 2 songs if we ever get back to live concerts.
along the
Got to give it a 0 as well. I mean, Steve Moore sounds... All right, let's listen to the rest of Solo. probably not being fair to this album because it's on first listen. It's probably not. You put on the headphones, smoke a couple joints, drink some beers, and just close your eyes. You probably appreciate it way more. Just like Ian. Just like Ian Gillan said, the fans should just listen to the album as an enjoyable experience. He's probably right. I shouldn't be reviewing it as song by song.
It's a green balloon that travels overnight. It's the only thing that's keeping me alive.
All right, I got to give that one a 0. I'm sorry, Ian. Whatever your last... Ian Gillan. Remission Possible. Yeah, they gave Don Airey front and center, didn't they? Oh, this one's an instrumental. It's practically all Don Airey. It's only 1 minute and 39 seconds, so that's a good thing. Goes into the other single called Man Alive. Let's let it go into it and see how it sounds. I would bet if they ever get back to playing live, this song will be included. It'd be right before Man Alive. Well, big prediction by Butler. We'd like to play for you our new single, Man Alive, from Whoosh.
Sunsets in the west. Boy has gone to rest.
Ooh. Sunsets in the west. Ooh. Ooh. Again, smoke a joint, put the headphones on, turn the lights out, close your eyes, stare at the ceiling or your eyelids, stare at your eyelids. It's probably good meditation music. I should do that. As a meditation album, I give it a 13 out of 13. I like that. Lasers going all over the stadium, all over the Shoreline Amphitheater. Green lasers and red lasers.
All creatures great and small graze on blood-red soil and grass that grows on city streets.
All right, I'm going to be generous and give that one a 1. I don't know why, but I am. Because I guess I just imagined the lasers and meditation album. Next song, which was originally on the first Deep Purple album, 1968, Shades of Deep Purple, written by Ritchie Blackmore and John Lord. Man Alive. Wait a minute. It's not called Man Alive. Fucking dumbass. It's called... I lost my place here. It's called And the Address. I give it a half. Next, final song on the album, Dancing in My Sleep, which is actually supposedly a bonus track, but I'm going to include it anyway since it's what I have here. Dancing in My Sleep. We'd like to thank you for coming tonight. We'd like to close out with the last song of our new album called Whoosh, Dancing in My Sleep.
I'm flying through the night to the rhythm of the street.
Oh, dance number. Oh, Dancing in My Sleep, dance number.
What happened, baby? But my blood rises every time we meet. I come alive. I get the feeling everything will be alright.
I like that. All right, I'm going to let it go a little longer before I get this.
Going down. I don't know what happened, babe. I'm in the right place. My feet don't touch the ground. To my surprise, I'm all alone, dancing in my sleep. Oh yeah.
I really got to give this album a better listen. I'm not doing it justice by reviewing it on first listen. I know I would like this album a lot more if I heard it a few more times. But on first listen, I'm giving this one a half. So let's tally it up, shall we? We got 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 6, 6.5, 7 out of 13. Let me do a recount just to make sure that's right. 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 13. I think that's a lot more scientific than All Music's 4 out of 5, or Classic Rock Magazine 4.5 out of 5, or Blabbermouth 9 out of 10. There you go. That's the Rock and Roll Geek scoring system, friends. 7 out of 13. I hope you enjoyed this track by track of Deep Purple's latest album, Whoosh. Let me know if you agree with my review or disagree. Send me an email, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. If you agree with me, put in the subject line, Butler. Thank God we have you. The one who tells it like it is. The man who doesn't care what other people think. All right, put that in the subject line. You disagree with me, Butler? Thank God we have assholes like you. Trashing an album on first listen. Fuck you. Unsubscribe. You suck. I'm gone. I'm pulling my donation. Put that in the subject line. rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. All right, thank you for listening, friends. You know how you can find me. rockandrollgeek.com is where you find the show. rockandrollgeek@gmail.com is the email. Find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek Don't Ask. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. I'll talk to you tomorrow. From the Mountain House, hopefully.
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.